I'm Delvin Esprit, Cairo FM. The question I wanted to ask, in terms of the facilities, you talk about the facilities, how quick government is going to try to work on them. But because the Windsor Park is unavailable, Pottersville is one of the places that have been affected badly, and the sports division used it a lot, and also the Goodwood Secondary School and the Goodwood Primary School for sports. What is the position in terms of Lindo Park? Because we're not hearing too much about Lindo Park, and Lindo Park, to me, I believe that is one of the important ones. How fast or soon government can at least help to develop Lindo Park in terms of basketball and in terms of the grounds?
No. As you are aware that Lindo Park really is governed by the Lindo Park Committee. And the Lindo Park Committee, we would expect, and we as the Ministry of Sports, we normally give support to the development of and maintenance of the playing field. The ministry normally, on a regular basis, would send somebody to do the grass the lawn maintenance, and we can continue to do that. But we would expect the committee to have already taken proactive action and to be able to begin to do an assessment and to tell us what is required at the stadium, at the Lindo Park. But in terms of the hard court, as I said, most of those facilities, the uprights were damaged, and we definitely have to now get costing on all of those uprights, and we are in the process of getting estimates for all of our sports facilities that were damaged, so that we know exactly. We have had for the stadium, as I said, so we need for every facility, so we know exactly how much it's going to cost us and which areas we would have to give priority. And as you rightly said, that is one of the areas that is greatly utilized for basketball. So definitely this would be one of the areas that we would have to look at and consider in relation to basketball development. We have the Massac playing field, we have Pishney, we have, there are some areas, St. Joseph, there are some areas that are widely utilized for the sports, and some of the people at the meeting, the representatives of basketball did make mention of the extent of damage and some of the areas that they utilize very, very, very much for their development of their various sports. And so we will attempt to give priority, but I cannot say we will do all of them. As you will appreciate, we can only do those things incrementally. But we also expect collaboration, and we expect the committee, the Lindo Park committee, also to take charge, because I know they also had a mower that would probably be able to be used for the maintenance of the grass. So I expect them. The fence is down, and that was a project that was funded outside of government. So they would have to look to see how they can collaborate with us to see how they themselves can restore it, because they are in full. They're really in charge of this facility for now, although it is government's land.
Madam Charles, Joseph Thomas, while you're at the podium, I'd just like to ask, you made mention of $6 million being assessed for the rebuilding of Windsor Park. I'm a little bit taken by that. I'm not too good at figures, so when I heard $6 million, I thought the figure really was going to be more. But you said $6 million. How soon, though, can we expect to see work at the stadium? Because, as you said, the area is open. And if you continue to leave it open, or if it continues to stay open, we're going to have more human damage to it than we had from Hurricane Maria, understanding the psyche of my Dominican people. So how soon can we expect to see physical work start on that project to get it back to some level of occupancy or play?
Okay, presently as we speak, in fact, the two towers that fell, one fell on the Coca-Cola factory, and the other one, both of those things are presently being removed. As we speak, there is work ongoing to remove those things. As I said earlier, we've secured some of the material. We've gotten an estimate of close to about $75,000-$80,000 just for the retaining wall, and we have started securing some of the material. We are hoping that work can start in earnest. I know we had some of the material. I do not want to tell you before Christmas, but as early as possible in the new year. January, early as possible in the new year, we will commence work on the perimeter walls.
This question is for Mr. Trevor Shillingford. Prior to the passage of Hurricane Maria, I noticed you had some challenge, some level of challenge, in trying to get enthusiastic school children to get themselves involved in sport. Many a times you lamented the fact that your programs were seriously hampered by the lack of participation from the schools. How optimistic are you then, post-Maria, that we can get this up and going, we can get this up and running? Because it would seem to me that with the level of devastation we had with Maria, the enthusiasm level would probably drop significantly. So how optimistic are you that we can get this up and running?
Well, I'm very optimistic. We have already started with the program, as I said, at the under 20 and under 17 football. We have realized some level of participation that we can be comfortable with. We have seen 8 schools registering to participate in the under 17 division of football and also 7 at the under 20. And that for us is a very encouraging sign. We are hoping that we can continue our work in convincing the schools authorities that sports and physical activity is very useful to the development of the individuals or the holistic development of our students. We are encouraged by some of the latest developments, since at the primary schools level, a decision has been taken by the Ministry of Education to have the last hour of every school day, that is from 12 to 1, set aside as activity period. So they have realized that there is need to have the children engaged, and we will definitely be seeking to build on that momentum in order to get them to continue to buy into the message that physical activity is important to the well-being of our students.
It's addressed to Mr. Shillingford. On a similar note to Mr. Joseph's question, we know that in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria, a number of students will have left country, particularly those closer to the CXC year and so on, including a lot of our top student athletes. So my question is, how much of an impact do you foresee that being on our school programs and also on the inter-schools games we expect later in the school year?
Yes. Definitely, we have already taken this into consideration, and for instance, our basketball team at the last Windward Island school games, we probably would have about 3 of the students actually returning, because most of the basketballers have actually left state. And that we know is going to have an impact on our the availability of students and probably our ability to put forward our best team at the Windward Island school games and other regional tournaments. For instance, we selected our under 15 cricket team, which traveled on Saturday, and our captain is actually out of Dominica, having left to continue his education as a secondary school student in the United States. So it's definitely having an impact on our performance, on the availability of players. But we will continue to work with the available talent that we have. We will put in the extra effort to ensure that we can be very competitive at the various regional levels.
Yeah, this question is for the Minister. Concerning the National Sports Council, we know a lot of talk have been speculating in terms of that before the Hurricane Maria. What is the latest and how close it is now, National Sports Council?
The National Sports Council, well, as you know, quite a bit of work was done on the preparation and the review of what existed and the way forward and making recommendations. And basically, we are at a point where we are preparing the paper, the information, so that we can make a submission. We've reviewed, Mr. Shillingford and some of other sports enthusiasts have reviewed the recommendations, and we are looking at beginning to make preparations for cabinet submission so that cabinet can take a decision, and then we would proceed with the rest of the work to do with the sports policy.
Well, Sharon Burton, DBS again. Prior to Hurricane Maria, we heard about some of the progress in terms of the proposed track facility in Warner, in terms of soil testing and so on. Is there any update in that regard? I'm working with the DOC.
All right. With the tract, what has happened is we did get, in fact, government made a commitment to make land available, but that is land we were supposed to purchase. We are expected to purchase from the Dominica Social Security. In discussion with the Olympic Committee and other stakeholders, they are requesting more land than what was recommended to them. And so as a result of that, we have to revisit, because the land does not belong to government, the land belongs to the Dominica Social Security. So we would have to review the request that they make and see how feasible it is, and then we will get back to the Olympic Committee. But that is how far we are. They've, what I would say is, made a request for more land than what was proposed.
Madam Charles, how much land was proposed and what is the request for more?
I have not seen the report for the request for more, but I know what we offered was enough to have prepared and built a 400-meter track.
I'm Clivia John, Dominica Vibes. I know you said that approximately $6 million would be needed to rebuild the Windsor Park Stadium, but can you give a ballpark figure on how much it would cost to rebuild all these sporting facilities around the island?
No, we have not gotten it. As I said earlier, we are now in the process of getting estimates on all of them. We've had a damage assessment done, but what we are doing now is engaging somebody to give us a costing on the repairs, so that we will know, as I said, so that we can prioritize and decide which one based on the amount of money and the regional picture that we want to look at.
Lots of interest in the advancement of sports in Dominica, and we thank you for that. Let me thank the Minister responsible for Youth, Sports, Culture and Constituency Empowerment, the Member of Parliament for the Grand Bay constituency, Honourable Justina Charles, the Permanent Secretary, Mandra Fagan, Sports Coordinator, Trevor Shillingford, all the sports enthusiasts, Delvin Esprit, Joseph Thomas, Sharon Burton, the other journalists who are here as well. Thank you all. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and have a great day.